to my January wear, I would say collection, rotation. That seems like a good name for it. So, welcome if you have not seen one of these before. My unboxings are great. First impressions, great. This is the series that I tell you of the fragrances I'm actually wearing, and more than that, I am also telling you of the compliments I got, comments I got, and the performance. So these are actually the videos that I think are a lot better than the unboxings, because this is a thorough assessment. So, and I hope you all don't have anywhere to be, because I got about 25 fragrances. I went hog wild in January trying to get in all of the last minute cool weather fragrances. Load me up for the dark days of the spring fragrances ahead. So let's begin. The first one that I wore is by the house of Banana Republic. This one shocked me. And this is Cordovan Vintage, not Cordovan. There's two of them. This is Cordovan Vintage. This is a rich, masculine, but slightly feminine. It's unisex, leans a little bit more masculine, powdery type of, kind of old, Wild Wild West, kind of leathery, masculine kind of vibes. Not soapy at all. It's difficult to describe. It's a very mass appealing, inoffensive fragrance that just smells like something old. It smells like one of the older times, and some could say better times or whatnot. The thing that just blew me away about this fragrance was this is Eau de Parfum concentration. This fragrance house, Banana Republic, these are $70, $80 fragrances. They are worth at least $40, and they are being sold right now at the rack stores for $20, $25. Eau de Parfum concentration. The thing that blew my mind about this guy is how it lasted. It lasted longer than any other fragrance. I test fragrances. I spray on the hand, spray on the wrist. I'll test 4 fragrances at a time. This went twice as long as any other fragrance that I tested, and I'm like, $25. Simple, inoffensive, office fragrance, all-day fragrance, 4-season fragrance. I can't recommend this enough. $30. $40 on the high side if you really wanted. Would not spend more than that. There's better options out there. But for $25, if you can find it, it's a no-brainer. And I think, other than my tobacco and tonka bean, that might be my favorite. Midnight Hour is good. I saw someone crapping on Midnight Hour the other day. I'm like, bro, it's a great fragrance for the money. Note, for the money, but of course this is all subjective anyways. Next. From the house of Mancera, we have Cedrat Boise Intense. This is one of those go-betweens. Could be spring, could be cooler weather fragrance. When I first heard about this fragrance, people said, it's Aventus. It's an Aventus clone. I already had it by the time that I saw someone review it. And I'm like, really? Like, I did not get that at all. The more that I smell it, the more that I'm in that mindset of thinking that it's an Aventus clone, I can start getting there and being like, okay, yeah, there's similarities, birchiness, and kind of a strong, more of a citrus vibe coming off the front, the base. But to me, it's also distinctly different from Aventus. And every single week in January, I wore an Aventus style fragrance, and I guess you can say think it's great. It's probably my favorite Mancera, but I don't like Mancera as much as I had hoped that I would. Hit or miss on projection and longevity. Some are great, some are not so great. This one's great. This one's 4 or 5 hours. Strong seal, strong projection. I would be interested in trying the not intense version because I'm telling you, like, if you were to say what percentage of this is Aventus, I'll give you 65. I mean, it's not something that I smell and I go, Aventus. But if you have that mentality going into it, yeah, you can pick it up for sure. But this is a $70 fragrance. Is it worth it? Yes, it is worth it because it's very high quality fragrance, but I don't know if I love it, It's the one that gets the most use. Let's just say that. And I think I can put in my spring rotation. Next, we have something that I do, I think, probably once a week. I'll put in a summery aquatic type fragrance in the winter because sometimes it works. Aquatic fragrances are exciting, happy, and remind you of warmer weather. And sometimes when the weather is 7 degrees Fahrenheit outside, you want something that reminds you of that. And this week it was Ralph's Club. This is the Eau de Parfum. Now this is not an ED. This is not an aquatic fragrance. This is a fresh type fragrance. You could perhaps call it ozonic, but fruity, not offensive, light. Just a friendly, happy fragrance. And I really enjoyed wearing it. I do tend to go nose blind to it a bit, but I think that's more of an indication on the fact it just uses really common notes that my nose is really used to and kind of drowns it out. Going nose blind is a normal thing. There's nothing wrong with you if you go nose blind. Going nose blind. Say that you spray something on. Your body doesn't want to smell that all day. It wants to smell other things. So it'll recognize lingering scents, put them to the side so it can smell new things. It's perfectly normal. When you can't smell yourself, ask somebody else, because the last thing you want to do is douse yourself when you're still projecting. And so I think that's one of those. Next, from the house of Montblanc. This is what I think is probably the best one, other than the blue new release that I need to get. Legend Red, the best in the Legend series, I think. Another one of those. Fairly long lasting. Montblanc Legends are not going to wham bam, thank you ma'am, slap your mom and shut your grandma down, like they're not going to make you bend over, grab your knees, and say Hail Mary. This is the greatest thing I've ever smelled. This is so unique and different. They're not going to do that. Not to say that they're not unique-esque, but they are inoffensive and common note. And for some reason in this first week, that's kind of what I was going for a couple days. I think I was just kind of sick and tired of the super niche-y vampire blood under the moonlight next to blood orange, whispering sweet lullabies into a bed of iris kind of niche fragrance profiles. I just wanted something clean. I love this fragrance, and so do other people. People love this fragrance as well. If they can smell it on you, they'll probably compliment you on it. Just because it's such a mass appealing scent. It's not a mass appealing scent. This next one. From the house of Parfums de Marley, we have Godolphin. I think I spent enough time with mass appealing fragrances that I was like, no more mass appealing fragrances. I want something crazy. And I went with Godolphin. I think Godolphin is great. I'm not even going to take off the cap because this thing is basically glued on there. It is your quintessential half-cut animalic, half-knot. There are smoother leathers, is what I'm trying to say, but there's also rougher leathers. This is in the middle. This is not hanging out the cow pasture, but it's also not sweet and fruity. It's really good. And because I don't wear a lot of leather fragrances, I typically don't go nose blind to it. I sprayed just once, one spray, and I was getting whiffs of it for probably 4 hours. Incredibly great performing fragrance, and everybody's getting rid of their Go Dolphins right now. I don't know if it's because they already have the Tom Fords, and it's a little repetitive, it's a little bit esoteric, it's a little bit more monotonous because you already have them, but I don't know. Next, we have, I don't know what was going through my mind this day because I wore this to a business meeting, and this is like one fragrance you should never wear to a business meeting. This is from Fragrance World. This is Liquid Brune. This is the fragrance clone of Altair. Bourbon vanilla, praline base, super gourmand fragrance. Great performer. I've talked about this one in other videos. Just great performer. Great job. And when I first opened it, I was a little disappointed I couldn't get some of those notes. The cinnamon, namely, that I was looking for. But I said, I bet as it macerates, you get some air in the bottle, and it matures. That'll come out, and it has, and I like it more and more every day. This is one of those stupid proof type of purchases. I think if you can get this for $40 as a blind buy, I think it's a very safe blind buy. This is Liquid Brune by Altair. People often refer to this as the thing that makes you not even need Altair, and I would agree with that. Parfums de Marley fragrances have some great clones out there that make it to where you don't even need the actual Parfums de Marley. I think that's one of them. And other Parfums de Marleys are actually clones themselves, like Go Dolphin. So it's interesting. Very much a hit or miss house. And I love Parfums de Marley, but it is a hit or miss house. Some of them are great, some of them, not that they're not good, they're just not worth the money that you have to pay for it. But Liquid Brune is great. Out of that first week, those are some great fragrances. Some great fragrances. I don't even know how I would pick. And to be quite honest, I don't regret a single one of those. And I can't say the same for every single fragrance in my collection or that I wear. I don't regret a single one of those. But that Liquid Brune continues to just blow me away. Next. I think I might have worn this fragrance a little too much because I only wore it once this month in January, and I said that this was the top 2024 release. 2024 release as a whole didn't do wonderful, but there were some really strong fragrances, and I think this is top 3. And this is Boss Bottled Elixir. I don't necessarily need to talk about it too much here because I've talked about it so much, but this is your incense, masculine, woodsy type fragrance. Beautiful for the cold weather, and I should wear this in February as much as I can because this is just not a scent that I can wear outside of fall or winter. It's not what I would consider a date night fragrance, so it's not even like I could get away with it during the evening. I really think that this belongs in fall and winter. I have a problem with the projection's good, the longevity. I have a problem with this, maybe 2 or 3 hours, but if you can get it for like $70, again, it's a no-brainer. Next, from the House of Montblanc, this is my Aventus style fragrance that I wore this week, and this is Explorer, made by Olivier Pechot. This is dollars to donuts, probably one of the best clones of Aventus that you can get. It basically tries to be Aventus. It does not try to be better. That's the thing with Club de Nuit Intense and some of these other Aventus type fragrances is they try to be Aventus, but they try to be better. This tries to be Aventus. I'm worried when I make my video with the Aventus clones that I won't be able to tell this one in Aventus apart. I really am. Great projection, great sillage, great everything, great price. You're talking about $40 on the discounters for this fragrance, and it's a no-brainer. I talked about liquid brune being the thing that makes people go, I don't even need Altair anymore. Montblanc Explorer is the fragrance that makes people say, I don't need Aventus. I sell the Aventus or whatever you want to do with it. So, next is from the House of Armagh. This is Odyssey Homme. This is the big bottle. This is a clone of Noir Extreme, which I actually have sitting right here. This is a clone of Noir Extreme-ish. Supposedly it differs just a little bit, but it is your kind of deep, rich, and complex, sensual, unisex type of fragrance. A date night, all day. Could be an all-day fragrance, but for sure waxy type, sort of rich, tonka kind of fragrance. And it's really good. It was done beautifully. Everything from this Odyssey series that I've tried from Armagh has been a hit. Bar none. Without fail, it's been a hit. And I'm really happy with it. 5-6 hours of projection. $30. Crazy. Next, we go from $30 a bottle to $30 per spray. This is from the House of Killian, and this is Angel Share. Luckily, there's some really good alternatives to Angel Share. If you didn't see my video, where excuse me, jeez, the cat makes the weirdest noises. If you didn't see my video where I tried to guess the best Angel Share, go check it out. It's a lot of fun. But luckily, there are a lot of really good alternatives to Angel Share because the price is so prohibitive. You're talking about over $200 for a 1.7 ounce like this, but this is your rich, cinnamony, gourmand, boozy type fragrance. It's very spicy in the base. One of the greatest fragrances I think ever made. Is it worth it? Yes. Yes. If you have the money. If you have the money and are looking to get a one fragrance, expensive fragrance, $200 plus fragrance, that's definitely up on there on the list. And the other one for the second week is a freshy, aquatic type fragrance of this week, and this is Mercedes-Benz The Move. I don't know about this fragrance. I like it. I just don't care for blues fragrances that much. So that's what it is, a blues fragrance. This is a eau de toilette concentration, and it performs very good for an eau de toilette concentration. Mercedes-Benz has some really good fragrances. The Club and the Club. Is it the Club Black and the Mercedes-Benz Black? I need to get those. I hear that they're very good. So that was week 2. The best out of that one is Angel Share, but I would probably most likely want to wear Boss Bottle Elixir. Okay, week 3, I wanted to kind of alternative to By the Fireplace, which to this day is an incredibly popular fragrance, top 5 fragrance, that is purchased by Maison Margiela replica series. And this is Chocolate Hazelnut by Gourmand. You just look at the color of that juice. I mean, it is dark, it is rich, and I didn't know this because of how well the replicas perform, but the replicas are eau de toilettes. I figured with the price being what it was and the projection performance, that certainly they were eau de parfum concentrations. They're not. And this is also an eau de toilette concentration. This is Replica By the Fireplace without the smoky notes. This is sweet. So if you don't like the smokiness of By the Fireplace, check this out. I happen to really like the smokiness of By the Fireplace, so when I was making my video, fragrances that are better than the original, I wanted to feature this, and that's why I wore it a couple of times, but I could not, in good conscience, put this above By the Fireplace, because it does not have those smoky notes, and I don't think it's as good. But you know what is good? That price point. You see that? $16.99, whereas By the Fireplace is over $100 retail. So if you're looking for an alternative, this is a more feminine version of By the Fireplace. And I still like it, it's just different. And I'm happy, but I wish there were more people talking about it, because I'm the only one talking about this fragrance, and it really is a good variation of that fragrance that everybody loves. Next, we have Boss Bottled Triumph Elixir. This is Boss Bottled. This is Boss Bottled with a grape pixie stick opener. It dries down fairly similar. It's much more similar to Boss Bottled than like the Boss Bottled Absolute, but much more similar to the Elixir. Both Elixirs are similar in the dry down. This is a more mass appealing fragrance. This is a fragrance that women are probably gonna like a little bit more than the Elixir, a little bit more. Not that it's unisex or feminine. This is a masculine fragrance, but it has more mass appealing notes, and it's less complex and less rich, and it smells wonderful. It smells expensive, and it's a wonderful fragrance. This is another day that I must have lost my mind, because I wore this fragrance to orchestra practice, and this is from Dua. This is Gourmand Illusion. This is a obviously gourmand fragrance. That is a clone of Mirage Gourmand by Lenoble's Essences, and it comes on very sweet, very sugary, but dries down to an almond cake is what they officially call it in the note breakdown. An almond cake. It is an incredible fragrance, one of my favorite fragrances. Okay, next we have our Aventus cologne. This is Not Only Intense, Supremacy Not Only Intense by Off and On. Off and On doesn't make every banger in the world, but when they do make a fragrance, it's usually pretty good. This is a 9 p.m. Being the Ultra Malt, probably one of the best other than Rom's Silver. Incredible likeness. This is a clone more so of Hasabat than it is Aventus, but this is an extrait, so higher concentration, and I actually wore this twice. So all of these fragrances you see today, they're once, and they might be once. I bought Ralph's Club Eau de Parfum 4 months ago, I think, and this is the first time that I've worn it, and I probably won't wear it for a good while. very special, very special. It just goes to show how much adoration I have for this fragrance. And lasts long, projects well. And then we have one more fragrance for this week. And you'll probably recognize this one. This is from the House of Creed. And how's that? How's that for an Aventus fragrance of the week? I wore this once. There is a difference between this Explore Supremacy Not Only Intense, Club de Nuit Intense, La Venture by Al Haramein, Midnight Hour, Black Walnut, name whatever Aventus clone you have, that I can pick up whenever I am smelling it and whenever I'm wearing it. That hopefully serves me in the video that I'm going to make where I try to guess which one is the real one. But there's a spicy breakdown of persistence. This is 4 hours of great performance before it ever becomes a skin scent. Great performance, sillage, projection. I got this not really wanting to like it that much, and I do. I really am enjoying this particular fragrance. So even though these things, other ones come very, very close, and maybe if I was not smelling them side by side with Creed, I might think that those are actually the Creeds. But when you have side by side and myself wearing them, I can tell the difference. And then the last one, I kind of have like there's kind of like a half week, so I guess let's just go into week 4 and then we'll cover week 5. Okay. So the first one that I have for that is from the House of Yves Saint Laurent. This is Les Parfums of myself, and I wore this fragrance. Actually, I wore this comparing it to Stronger With You, Intensely, as well as Odyssey White by Armauve. All very, very similar fragrances. Vanilla bourbon. This is more of an oaky, masculine take on that, whereas Stronger With You is sweeter. I don't understand when people say that this is the same thing as the Eau de Parfum. I don't understand that at all. To me, it's distinctly different, much more gourmandy, but I'm a gourmand snob, so that's just how I feel. And I'm trying not to snap this cap directly into the microphone, but I'm happy with it. It's not as earth-shattering, breathtaking performance as when the Eau de Parfum launched. I think that was more impressive, but they're both different, and they're suited for different purposes. Whereas the Les Parfums, I think of more of a winter, fall time fragrance, and the Eau de Parfum year-round, and certainly spring and summer and early fall. Next, from the House of Dior, I guess I had kind of a designer scent week. This is Dior Homme Parfum. This is a leathery iris-based fragrance. You can see quite dark, amber. I was really impressed with this fragrance. Now, this is a $250 fragrance because so many people are buying it, not enough was made, and so people are scalping it for like $250, $300. I think Dior sells it on their website for $180, so it's hard to get an exact price for this. But this is a beautiful iris leather, complex, rich type masculine fragrance. Projection was wonderful. Performance was a solid 3 hours before it settled down, became a little bit more of a skin scent. Would I recommend it? 100%. 100%. I think it's a great fragrance. Next, we have And this is an incredible fragrance. If you are looking at getting an oud fragrance, I would strongly urge you to consider this one. This is not offensive. Things that have a little bit too much oud come off as foul to a lot of people, and this puts a little bit of sweetness in there. The dry down, you still get quite a bit of that oud, but it's also other types of woods that are mixed in here, a little bit of sweetness, and my skin loves oud, so it performs wonderfully. This is a on skin fragrance. If you spray it on clothes, I don't know what's going to happen. It needs that scent and chemistry of your skin to bring out those notes. $180. I don't know if I would say it's worth that, but it is a very good fragrance, as Tom Fords go. Next, we have a fragrance I wore twice actually, and this is from the House of Al Haramain. This is a clone of Haltane by Parfums de Marley, and this is Echo. Why this does not have a ton of reviews and attention, I don't know. Detour Noir, the latent clone. So many views, so many purchases, so many buys. This, now, I think Haltane is a treasure. Of course, you're talking to the Gourmand guy, but I think Haltane is this buried treasure that people are either gatekeeping or they just don't know about. It presents itself as being green in like a fougere type of bottle, so I was never really that interested in it, but it is very gourmandy, sweet, not sweet and spicy, but not dessert-esque. Doesn't really remind you necessarily of a food. It's just kind of a sweet, sugary type of vibe. I actually I took a nap with this guy on, and I don't require a whole lot of sleep at night, so after working, I'll make these videos and edit them to 4 a.m. and typically I only sleep about 3 to 4 hours a night, and occasionally I'll need an hour nap or something to get through. When I was younger, everyone told me there was something wrong with me, like doctors tell you there's something wrong with me, and I just realized my body doesn't need that much sleep. When I get 7 hours, I feel like garbage, and so I fell asleep with that guy on. It kept waking me up. That's how it was. One spray, like half a spray, it kept waking me up because it was that strong. I'd get a whiff of it and I'd shoot awake. Be like, well, what was that? Who goes there, So I have the utmost of respect for that Detour Noir line, and I don't know if I see Haltane for a good price, maybe I'll pick it up, but I think that might be good enough for me. Okay, next we have 4 more. Next we have from the House of Bentley, we have Absolute, and this is a clone. I don't even know if you can call it a clone. It's like a second version under a different house of Gucci Pour Homme, which I believe was a 2006 release and was discontinued fairly shortly after that, all things considering. The same perfumer that made Gucci Pour Homme made this, copied over the recipe. It's the same fragrance. The fragrance that went for hundreds of dollars with Gucci, now you can buy for less than 30 from Bentley. This is a deep, rich, complex, tobacco, leathery type of fragrance. It is masculine. It is a cold weather fragrance. Super impressed with the performance. Did not have the greatest of projection, but these leather tobacco fragrances sit typically a little closer to the skin, which is almost something that you want, because with something like leather and tobacco, not everybody likes those types of fragrances, so it's not something you necessarily want to be forcing everybody around you to smell. But for less than $30, you're getting a concentration. And a great fragrance at that. I need to get more of that line, but you can't go wrong with it from what I'm seeing. Like, it's just everything in that. And there's quite a few in this Bentley line, so that's gonna take me a little while, I think, to find the motivation to buy those. So I'm collecting other fragrances. The next two fragrances I wore very close to each other, very side by side with each other, and it is Uomo Intense, Valentino, and Dior Homme. And by the time you see this video, you might have seen my unboxing. Maybe you haven't. I did the unboxing. I did about a week ago, so I've had a chance to test these out. So you might see the unboxing after this, but this still needs to mature, I think, and it'll get better. This is a powerhouse right now. This is popular. This is not as popular. This right here is very similar to the Parfum. Much more similar to the Parfum than it is the Eau de Parfum. Both are leathery iris type fragrances. This does not have leather in it. The Dior Homme Intense, it has that leather, it has that iris. They both perform about the same. They both project about the same. The Valentino is a much truer version of the original release in that Parfum, whereas this is a little bit more flowery, a little bit more iris, a little bit sweeter. This is more of a mass appealing unisex, even though I wouldn't wear it or recommend it for a woman. Means that women are probably gonna like it a little more than the Valentino. I honestly can't tell you like which one to get, but the Valentino is almost half the price, or at least 2/3 the price. This is a 3.4. This is a 3.4 as well. This is like 120, and this was like 88. So big difference on the price. And I preferred this one, but my first reaction in the video that I'm gonna release was very much like, oh, Valentino wins, but it's not that simple. When I wore them side by side, it wasn't that simple. I think there were times that the Dior actually performed better. So, do you need both? That into this situation, I think they're just different enough to where you could. But say, for instance, you buy one of them and you realize you don't like it, you don't need to buy the other one. Like, they're not that different. If you dislike one, you'll dislike the other probably. One more. This is a fragrance that I wore yesterday to finish off the month. An incredible fragrance that I can't believe more people don't talk about. From the house of Parfums de Marley, we have Galloway, the white bottle, unisex fragrance. This is green Irish tweed. If green Irish tweed stayed sweet and did not get spicy, if you like green Irish tweed, you will like this probably. This is a sweeter version of a Fougere spring summertime fragrance. I wore it to practice. I sprayed it 3 times, and just like green Irish tweed, I about killed somebody. Like, flies dropping dead around me, pigeons falling from the sky above me. This is such a strong performer. Sillage is unbelievable. The projection is unreal with this guy, and by far, out of all of the fragrances that I've acquired in the last 6 months, that one has probably shocked me the most as far as performance. And it's funny, I bought it with Cologne, and it was a set of 2, because they were from a collector who was downsizing his Parfums de Marley collection, so he was selling both Cologne and Galloway. I already had a travel spray, 8 ml of Cologne, so I didn't really need it, but I'm like, it was a great price that I got for them. It was like $40 each or something, and they're most of the way full. But Galloway was never even on my list. I didn't even know it was a thing. And it came with Cologne in that package, and you see this. We've gone through all the fragrances that I've worn in January. Cologne's not here. Galloway is, and I think it's going to be making my monthly rotations every month. It's that good. So there are so many great fragrances here. Maybe we can do like a top 5 to end in the video. But it's tough, man. It is tough. Let's just go. Let's go with 5. Let's go with the 5th best fragrance, I think. Out of this whole lot, this is tough. That means 20 incredible fragrances aren't going to make it. 25 is probably going to have to be a liquid prune. I'm blown away by this fragrance. It's such a good fragrance, and for the price, you can't beat it. Number 4, I'm going to have to go with the Dua. This Gourmand illusion and this almond cake is exceptional. Let's go with 3rd. 3rd is going to be a tie between both the Boss bottles. I can't pick them because I wear them about equally. They're very similar in the dry down, but it's like the difference between Ani and Ani X. Ani X being a little bit more citrusy, and the opener similar dry downs. It's the same thing with the Triumph Elixir. It's just a little bit sweeter. 2nd best, so number 2. Man, number 2. We're gonna have to go with Aventus. Incredible fragrance, incredible performance, incredible projection, incredible everything. Just super, super. And then number 1. That is so tough. Number 1 fragrance for the month of January. Gosh darn. I'm torn. I'll give you 2. I'll give you 2 because I can't pick. It's gonna be between Dior Homme Parfum and Galloway. Those are gonna be my tie. Not a tie. I wouldn't say tie. They're so different. This, if I'm picking a cold weather fragrance, it's this all day. It's Parfum Dior Homme. But I have a feeling that Galloway is gonna get a lot of action in spring and summer. And I was actually gonna buy Green Irish Tweed, even though Trey Nui is so close. I was actually gonna buy Green Irish Tweed because I saw it on a great deal, an incredible deal, and I just thought back to Galloway, and I'm like, if I had a choice between Green Irish Tweed and Galloway, I would pick Galloway. So I was like, why do I need Green Irish Tweed? So I might add it if it stays at that great price, but I just don't see it getting as much action because of Galloway, and that's a testament to how good it is. But that was tough. There's so